Hello and welcome back to another episode of Boys Have Gone Wild. I'm joined today by my co-host Andrew Cohen. It's another episode. It's another day. It's another dollar. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you. I'm glad you've joined me today.
It's nice to join you today. It's nice that we both took time out of our schedules to sit down and have a good chin wag and a natter.
Our busy schedules.
I
sat down with Andrew Cohen.
I think a lot of the world's problems would be solved if we all just sat down and had a good chin wag.
A chin wag?
Yeah, have you never heard that before?
I have heard a chin wag.
Yeah, a natter, a chin wag. Chin wagging is what our mums do when they meet mum friends and have a tea.
So you think in Israel-Palestine, chin wag?
Yeah.
Front room, cup of tea.
Yeah, like I
Victoria
think
sponge.
all of these UN talks are a bit too official.
Yeah.
You just need like a living room with loads of throws on them on the sofas.
So you don't think that's going to end in tears? You think
No.
the vibe will...
Yeah, because when it starts to get a bit frosty, Kathy will bring out the bourbons.
Exactly.
All the classic creams.
Humanitarian pause for bourbons.
But do you not think... Oh, have you seen that? Speaking of which, have you seen that video that's going nuts on TikTok?
Viral?
It's going viral.
Yeah.
And I only put it together recently that... Well, not that recently, but that viral was like a virus.
Like a virus, yeah.
It took me a while to... And the only reason I got it is because I think it's on Veep. Someone says... One of the older characters mistakes it for like a virus. An actual virus.
Oh, I see.
And I went, oh,
yeah.
That's why it's called viral.
There's a lot of these things have like they're going to become important. They're going to become important words historically because they're going to be able to talk about massive phenomenon. But they started like I feel meme is a stupid word, but it means a lot.
Well,
a lot
meme,
of things.
do you know where meme comes from?
Memetics.
Yeah.
What's memetics?
Memetics was by who's that?
Dawkins.
Yeah, Dawkins.
Did Dawkins invent memes?
He invented the
word meme.
I think it was Dawkins.
Yeah.
But he invented the theory of memetics, which is just like culturally significant images and or phrases kind of thing.
Oh, well, I guess that does work pretty well.
That's why they're called memes.
Did you call them memos ever?
In my head when I was 15.
Yeah, fine.
I don't think it ever came out of my
No,
head.
sure.
I remember someone telling me at school pretty promptly. I think I might have said it out loud once and I was quickly slapped down the wrist.
Do you remember what's the oldest meme you can remember?
They were all like French ones, like le something. You know that drawing of the, like a, it's so hard to describe. He looks like a ghost.
Okay.
He's got like a black pencil outline and it's like, le something.
And
everything just had a le in front of it.
French. Everything's French.
Yeah, everything's French. But it was just le something and it would be...
But was there anything French about the way they looked?
No, they just went le something. That was very early.
What's the joke there? Oh, I guess it's before...
It's worth getting one up briefly.
It's before jokes...
It's before jokes really exist.
One of the earliest meme sensations was probably like Planking Lad. That's not really a meme, but it's kind of... Remember Planking Lad? Or even the planking phenomenon.
That was later. Planking was when it became a bit more advanced.
Yeah.
I think the le thing came from... Do you remember this video?
No.
Do you not remember the French when it's like, but I'm tired?
No.
That was a classic. And I think a lot of the le French memes came from that. I'll try and get one up because I think... Oh, it's like this is what they look like.
Oh, yeah, of course. That. Oh, I didn't know that was French.
It's not actually French.
Oh, but that
People
type
would
of meme format. Yeah. So it's sort of like a cartoon.
The fight, do you still love me? Of the course I do, le baby. Now le more le crying.
That's quite funny.
Le wipe away le tears. He le wiped away my le tears. My le boyfriend is so le romantic. Le lick le tears off. Oh, that's actually quite a new one. Because then it goes into that.
Oh, I see. So it's already reached its logical endpoint.
It's those drawings that look like balloons and ghosts, and they're like...
Yeah. I can't remember really early ones. I think there's obviously top text, bottom text memes, or like epic fail.
Epic fails.
There were some epic fails.
The kid.
Yeah.
Who does the...
Oh, God, yeah, of course.
What's his name?
Kermit the Frog drinking tea. That's sort of none of my business type thing.
Yeah.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck
Norris.
Chuck had a big face.
Yeah. Oh, the old timey strong man.
Oh yeah. He was there.
Well, remember that? Remember when I had that weird lunch with the Russian oligarchs?
Yeah.
And then I got shown a meme, and this was only 5 years ago. No, this was 7 years ago. 6 years ago. and it was an old-timey meme with an old-timey strongman.
Yeah.
Which was period blood was the top text, and the bottom text was more like sex ketchup.
Yes. And that was over a lunch.
Yeah.
With a Russian oligarch.
Yeah.
So
You're a comedian.
We've done it before, but let's do it again. How did he present it? I'm you, you're him. I'm enjoying some asparagus.
We had beef, and then it was vodka at the end.
So for a minute, I thought
you'd
had like an argument, and this is his way of resolving it, which would have been a good way to resolve it.
We'd finished the meal, and then he'd called for rounds and rounds of vodka, as they often do.
Yeah,
and because
very stereotypical.
none of the women drank the vodka, but it was sort of like a way of sort of saying, "You're a man. Let's have 5 shots of vodka."
It's the Eastern equivalent of brandy in the smoking room with a cigar.
Yeah, but it was interesting because it's sort of like every round is more masculine, but vodka's a weird
How
one
does it get more
because
masculine?
brandy in a smoking room, you're sitting in it,
You're swirling it.
you're swirling it. This was sort of how like an after dinner mint would be, but there was 5 of them, and there were shots of vodka.
And a shot. Yeah, you're not.
So it's going around. We're drinking again.
You're not savouring the taste of the liquor. You're getting it down your gullet.
Yeah, exactly. And in that, he then says, "You're a comedian. You find this. I've got funny joke for you." And then he shows me this. So he'd clearly seen it earlier, maybe that day, or had saved it.
Yeah.
And just sort of was wondering, like, what do you think of this, basically?
Yeah. So let's go through it. Period blood, more like sex ketchup.
Yeah.
So
It's weirdly progressive.
it is weirdly progressive. So it's saying I'm still going to have sex with her, even though she's on a period, right?
Yeah. But the problem is it's like if it was sex lube.
That's what I was about to say. The exact same phrase. Ketchup.
It's kind of all over the place logically.
It's a very odd simile. It's like period blood.
I guess you could say like ketchup, as in sex is like chips to you.
But they didn't set that up.
No.
It's just period blood, more like sex ketchup. So the sex makes sense because that's setting up I don't mind when a girl's on a period. You're getting oddly progressive, but what's the ketchup part?
Well, I guess maybe that they eat ketchup, so they.
Or maybe sex is like a tomato. No, the woman is the tomato.
The period blood is the ketchup.
The sex is the squeezing of the tomato in order to create ketchup. I know there's other things that go into making ketchup.
The goal of the sex is to make period blood.
No, it's more. Yeah.
So it's like stepping on grapes to make wine.
Yes.
You're not doing it to step on grapes.
Yeah. The act isn't necessarily pleasurable. It's more about the product of it, which is the sex ketchup that comes out after.
But then there was an old-timey strongman. So I don't know if that throws a spanner in the mix.
The old-timey strongman just confirms the idea that it's a masculine thing to do to have sex with a lady because she's on a period. Mm-hmm. Because after all, it is just sex ketchup.
So in the news, there's been a very Boys Gone Wild story, I guess. Almost too on the nose.
Yeah.
Didn't you feel?
Yeah.
Like I feel like when you're discussing news stories, you want to sort of end up at this as opposed to start at this.
Rather than the crawling gimp of Somerset. You want it to be a bit more.
I want more craft.
It's very hard to have a take on this because the take is the story. There's nothing we can add. All we can do is recount the facts. There's not much interpretation.
I want a story like Hugh Edwards that ends up as a crawling group.
Again, Hugh Edwards was still kind of recounting the facts. We had a bum selfie to go off. There's not much like, isn't this interesting because? It's funny because.
For some reason, I just thought of Hugh Edwards and the bum selfie like Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So it was
What's the sequel?
The sequel, no, because that's in the series. So it's Hugh Edwards and Hugh Edwards. Like,
so has Hugh Edwards not got his own book series?
He has, but that's like number 2.
So what's the sequel to that?
Sequel to that would be Hugh Edwards and the month-long depression.
Yeah. Hugh Edwards and the long stay in hospital. Hugh Edwards and the return to BBC News.
Yeah, Hugh Edwards is the prisoner of his own mind.
Yeah, and then something happens after the news.
We can start Hugh Edwards in the indefinite mental health break.
It can work. It can work quite like Harry Potter because Harry Potter starts off relatively innocent and then gets darker and darker. So
it's
it can
true.
Like,
as you grow up with the books,
Hugh Edwards and the rise to stardom.
Hugh Edwards and the
Queen is dead.
And the Queen is dead. And
then Hugh Edwards and the bum selfie. Hugh Edwards in
That's sort of like the Prisoner of Azkaban,
Yeah.
where there's like a darker turn.
Yeah, Hugh Edwards in the attempted suicide. Hugh Edwards in the long hospital stay.
Indefinite mental health break.
Hugh Edwards in the return to BBC News.
Yeah.
And then we don't know.
And then Hugh Edwards and the second bum self.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. Oh!
Yeah, I guess they never put puns in the Harry Potter.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you.
You have to put it in there.
That's something we should use.
So anyway, we haven't discussed this news story. And
I
remember,
thought we just did.
Remember there's a lot of people who aren't British listeners, so we need to sort of educate them on British culture and what's going on. So what you know a bit more about this story than me.
I don't really. But I can give it a good old stab. Yeah. There was a man in Somerset who's been dressing up in a black gimp costume and
covered in mud.
Well, the mud comes later. He's been dressed up in a black gimp costume, walking around various parts of Somerset, quite a lot on the road. So he's been like. A lot of the time he's been in the road, flagging down cars, or at least getting in the way of traffic. But he's generally been around Somerset, and then there's a video that's come up on TikTok, which is the first confirmed evidence sighting of the Somerset Gimp man, I guess is what it's been called. But that's of him crawling along the floor. So it's clearly not. The first I heard of him was he was standing in roads, and in his trial. He was saying...
In his infinite wisdom,
the Somerset Gimp, speak upon us or forever hold your peace, is said that in his trial, he said that he was trying to kill himself, which I think is a bit of a...
Well, okay, here's the title of the news article. Somerset Gimp banned from wearing a gimp suit.
Yeah, well,
which it sort of takes away his essence. The Somerset Gimp, banned from... You can't ban a gimp, because you called him a gimp. Somerset Gimp.
Yeah.
He is. I guess he is a Somerset Gimp.
Yeah.
Banned from wearing a gimp suit.
Now what is he?
Now he's just a man in Somerset.
Taking the soul away from that.
In public. Wearing a gimp suit in public, so you can in private. Which, that's fair. You should be allowed to wear a gimp suit in private.
Well, this is my point about some of the penalties he's received.
Right. Somerset Gimp banned from wearing a gimp suit in public and crawling, wriggling or writhing on the ground for 5 years. It's so funny.
That's right. So let's go through that one by one.
That's so interesting.
He's banned from wearing a gimp suit in public. Is it not already banned to wear a full gimp suit in public at night? You're not listening.
I am listening. I'm listening. I don't know. No, I don't think so. There's no legislation. I guess you could make an argument towards it being.
I think
scaring the public.
I think it should be a law for everyone that no one is allowed to walk around in the dead of night with a gimp suit with a smiley face on the front of it.
But what if you're?
I don't care. I don't care.
What if you're like not doing something scary?
What like?
Like
name something. It'll be scary if you're wearing a gimp suit with a smiley face drawn on the front. Name anything. Name one thing.
Canvassing for Oxfam
at midnight. Terrifying.
Oxfam.
Terrifying.
You've got the gilet on.
Well, the gilet. No, you can't add things to the outfit because the gilet now doesn't make it scary.
I guess so. So I guess it's the pure gimp suit. Well, I guess it's not because he's banned from doing it. So I guess it isn't illegal.
That's what I'm saying.
So it should be.
Now, and the second one.
So it says Joshua Hunt, a self-employed...
No, what was the second thing he was banned from? Read it out slowly.
Well, it said, okay, wearing a gimp suit in public and crawling, wriggling or writhing on the ground for 5 years.
The man is banned from crawling, wriggling or writhing around on the ground for 5 years. Now, one, tough to enforce. Two...
Yeah, but I guess it's more like... They know that he might still crawl, wriggle, and ride on the ground, but if it ever becomes an issue, then he would be taken away.
It's one of the most astonishing sentences I've ever heard a court give. Imagine a judge banging his gavel and saying, you're not allowed to wriggle on the ground. And or writhe
or crawl.
So
he's not allowed to crawl on the ground.
So I bet when the judge started, he said crawl, and he was like, yes, I still got wriggle and writhe.
Yeah.
Being like, or wriggle or writhe.
Well, I guess it's like, obviously, if he... was stuck under something and had to crawl under it, that'd be all right. I guess it's that he can't be trusted to wriggle and writhe responsibly.
Exactly. Which implies that the rest of us are trusted to wriggle and writhe responsibly.
Yeah, I feel I can wriggle and writhe responsibly.
It's again one of those things. I'm not sure if I think the police would get involved regardless if anyone was found writhing on the floor for an extended period of time.
Yeah, extended.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. He's
we,
banned from wriggling or writhing on the floor.
If we got drunk with our friends and I ended up wriggling and writhing for 30 seconds, I don't think that's a problem. I think that's responsible wriggling.
I think bringing drunken behaviour into it kind of muddies the waters,
Yeah.
pardon the pun.
Joshua Hunt, a self-employed gardener from Claverham, North Somerset.
I wonder why he's a bloody gardener. What does he do all day?
Wriggle and writhe in the mud.
He wriggles and writes on the floor all day.
And also, gimp suit means you're not getting any of that on you.
He doesn't wear the gimp suit to his gardening
We
job.
don't know.
We don't know.
Had been linked by police to 25 incidents across the county over the past 5 years. So I guess the ban of 5 years is because you've been doing the crime for 5 years. They're like, let the punishment fit the crime.
Hilariously, in 5 years' time, he can go back to doing this.
Yeah, that's what I'm
what
fascinated.
doesn't make sense.
That's what I'm fascinated by. Is has he learnt his lesson, or is he just waiting in the sin bin? This is a sin bin.
Well, what I'm fascinated by is that he has been caught doing these things, and the court has banned him from doing these things for 5 years. But the fact that they've sentenced him suggests he's been doing something illegal.
Yeah.
But then, technically, he will be completely within his rights after 5 years to pop that gimp suit back on, get on the M25, and then go to the park and then wriggle and writhe on the floor.
Yeah, that is interesting, because clearly this has... Well, I guess it's because of the volume he's doing it at.
But surely there's no acceptable volume of that.
Yeah. Like, a man
Do you know
known as
what I
the
mean?
Somerset Gimp has been banned from dressing in all-blank gimp suit in public at night, crawling rather than ground for 5 years.
The punishment is to stop doing the crime for 5 years, but that implies that after 5 years he can then do the crime again. But that's then you just get in a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Oh, it is interesting. The order also prevents a self-employed gardener from wearing any type of mask or face covering in public unless for medical reasons.
Sure,
I think that's probably fair, because once again he can't be
but
trusted.
is that ever? It's probably 5
The
years
order,
ago.
it's probably in the 5 years thing.
But you see what I mean? Do you see why that's strange?
Yeah, because it's illegal on... It's a problem or it's not a problem.
It's like sentencing a murderer to 5 years without murder.
Yeah.
If he's committing, I'm listening. If he's committed that crime and he's been taken to court and he's been sentenced, surely there needs to be a punishment. It should be accepted that you can never do that again. It's weird that now in 5 years he can then do it again.
Which I would rate him a lot if he's
back in 5 years.
First day, he's straight back.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
It implies that he's been waiting.
Yeah.
Every
just sitting
day.
at home, staring out the window. God, I'd love to be wriggling and writhing right now.
But is he a good, humoured guy? Because it's fun. This is funny. This sounds hilarious.
This is deeply, deeply sexual. This
Do you
isn't
think?
funny.
No?
He's not doing this for a joke. He's a gardener. No one knew it was him. No one knew that.
I guess
there would have been
it's
rumours.
not. There's no one at the back laughing.
No, I think he's got a wife who probably wouldn't know about this.
Oh,
This is a deeply sexual thing.
you think he's got a wife, so he goes out. Oh, babe, I have to work late.
Yeah, gardening.
Gardening?
Yeah. There's these shrubs, Mrs. Jones's shrubs. Just
Yeah.
And then he comes back all dirty.
Well, he wouldn't be that dirty because he's got a gimp suit on. It's the perfect crime.
Yeah, but it'll be good if he comes back dirty because he's gardening. He's tending to
Yeah,
the
I
shrubs.
guess so. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It is the perfect crime.
It's the perfect crime. Who'd have thunk it? The perfect crime is going out in Somerset and rolling around on the floor in a gimp suit.
But what I like about this story is he's not really being punished that much. He's just stopped. He's just
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying.
Do you think he should have had a...
I think these things should be illegal. What's implying? It's weird that, when you commit murder, your punishment will be prison.
Yeah.
Because murder is illegal.
Yeah.
With this, he's been charged with something that's supposedly illegal, but his punishment is to stop doing that for 5 years, and then you can basically keep doing it.
I guess it's sort of like if you're in the legal system, you're sort of flicking through the law book.
That's exactly what I was about to say. There isn't any precedent for this.
You got this ancient tome.
Well, in law, you have like a lot of how stuff is progressed and things. Is you have famous cases that will maybe change the law or set a precedent. So this will be the Somerset Council versus the Somerset Gimp.
Yeah, exactly.
The Somerset High
people
Court
versus the
people versus the Somerset Gimp. But it's insane that he can keep doing it in 5 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. I think it is because they're like, well, public indecency, surely.
Yeah, and it's the sexual nature of it, I think.
But then I guess they're grappling with the question, like, can we ever stop a man wriggling and writhing on the floor for the rest of his life?
Yeah, well, I guess it comes into questions of sexual freedom. I guess it's, if he was not hurting anyone, so if he wasn't coming... No, but he's purposely harassing people, that's the main thing.
Yeah, and watch the video, by the way.
If he was... Yeah. He sees
It is terrifying. It's funny though that it's the only chance of getting him on video is two drunk lads who aren't scared by it because they're pissed that it's the funniest thing in the world.
There's another story. A man also got killed by a robot. Which, have you heard of any man getting killed by a robot? Is that the kind of the first of many stories?
It was a horrible segue.
Man crushed to death. Yeah, so in other news, a man has been crushed to death by a robot in South Korea. Have you ever heard of a man being killed by a robot before?
I've seen a man being crushed by machinery, but not by a robot.
I guess not. I guess I don't know what a robot is then.
I've seen iRobot.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. A man has been crushed to death by a robot in South Korea after it failed to differentiate him from the boxes of food it was handling.
How does the guy look exactly like a box?
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate.
Fair enough. You just imagine him revealed. He's just a square man.
The robotic arm, confusing the man for a box of vegetables, grabbed him and pushed his body against the conveyor belt, crushing his face and chest.
If you were to look like a box of vegetables, what vegetable would it be?
Well, I certainly wouldn't work at the...
You look like a turnip, a box of turnips. There you go.
And I probably wouldn't work at the turnip box factory.
Because of the fear of being mistaken for a box of turnips. But I think you would be a box of turnips. What am I, like...
I'd say...
Maybe like onion. Or like
maybe. I don't know what you are. I think you're actually a parsnip.
We can't be... That's... Parsnip?
Yeah.
What did I say you were?
A turnip. They're both ips.
They're both very similar.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's
But you
like...
really look like you actually look like a turnip.
A turnip?
Yeah, you look like a turnip.
I don't think I have the ears for a turnip. I don't know what a turnip looks like.
A turnip.
No, because we both got quite long and gaunt, I guess. So we're both going to be sort of root vegetables.
Oh, I meant parsnip for you. I don't mean turnip. Yeah, I meant parsnip.
Yeah, I look like a parsnip.
You look like a parsnip.
I think we both look like a parsnip. You look like a parsnip.
I think I'm a bit plumper.
No, lad, you're long and thin.
I know but
you're not big. no, not at all.
I don't know why I'm lobbying.
I don't know why you want to be an onion.
I'm lobbying to be an onion.
You really want to be.
I'm an onion.
You've got dysmorphia. You think you're an onion, but you're a parsnip. We're both
dysmorphia.
parsnips.
We are
really.
both parsnips, probably.
Let's be real.
Yeah,
we're parsnips. We're both similar height.
So the robot grabs the worker.
Yeah.
What does he do next?
Then he puts him into like an odd box. You know those like
in Willy Wonka.
No, but you know, yeah. I guess you know odd box where you get wonky vegetables.
Yes.
Well, he ended up in one of those.
And then someone ate him.
Yeah.
This turnip face.
And they didn't know.
Have you done something different with the stew tonight, honey? Yeah. I mean, do we actually know what happened with him?
Oh, he died. Oh, sorry. He got crushed against the conveyor belt and then later died of his injuries in hospital.
He got I need more. He got crushed against the conveyor belt. So the robot picks him up, puts him on the conveyor belt. It's like something out of Toy Story.
The man had been checking the robot's sensor operations ahead of its test run. That's annoying.
That's a shame.
Isn't it?
Bad test run.
Yeah, checking. Oh, let's just see how good this robot is. Ah!
It's a tough way to die.
I have a terrible feeling that his family are listening.
Where
South Korea.
South Korea.
I think we're pretty safe.
Maybe.
All it says is grabbed him and pushed his body against the conveyor belt, crushing his face and chest.
Well, what was they doing? What was this robot doing with the box of turnips anyway? Vegetables, sorry. It doesn't sound like it was a particularly efficient robot if its only job is to crush a box of vegetables against a conveyor belt.
I mean, it is like being... the problem is that that's a horrible way to die and obviously a tragedy, but it has been quite comedified, the idea of going through a conveyor belt. You know,
I'm saying it's something out of Toy Story.
Yeah, because you get your head bashed into a square,
like a doom,
and then
well, it's like one of those games.
Yeah.
Well, no, he wasn't. He was crushed into the conveyor belt.
Yeah,
which suggested the robot was doing a bad job anyway.
Yeah,
because it was probably crushing all the boxes of vegetables into the conveyor belt anyway.
Yeah, I guess it calls into question the integrity of the robot as a...
Do you think?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Well, because the robot killed someone.
Yeah, one because it killed someone. But I mean, you could say
from Horatio.
No, but
You're questioning the integrity of the robot that killed a man, mistaking him for a box of vegetables.
Yeah, obviously that's bad. But I was saying that you could say that it was the strength and power of it. It's like, oh, this is quite an impressive robot. There could be elements of it that are good, because you also should say like you shouldn't be getting on the conveyor belt.
What the fuck are you talking about?
You could argue that it's a good robot.
Why? Because it's so strong. The purpose of the robot is to load a box of vegetables onto a conveyor belt.
And that's why I said it.
Why
it lacks
would
integrity.
that robot need the strength to kill a human man?
Well, maybe it was trying to win an Iron Man. You know, if it was a different robot, but it isn't a different robot, so it's irrelevant.
Well, that's our coverage of the robot.
That's the news.
I was sat at Spoons the other day.
Yeah.
And it was on a Friday night. It started to fill up a little bit, as it often does. I was there with Adam, and we were outside on a four-man table. You know those classic benches you get. You know benches.
Oh, you know benches.
You know benches.
Yeah.
You know the ones that are connected to like a picnic thing.
Yeah.
So we were
it's often awkward getting out of those.
maybe for gangly dyspraxics like you, but what was the point?
Well, you're gangly, and then you said dyspraxic, and then I stopped.
Not as gangly as you are. This is a lot. We're back to the fucking turnip situation.
Debacle.
So we were sat there enjoying our time. Then two fellas come over and say, do you mind if we sit here? Now, they were an interesting pair. One of them was a guy he was probably about 35, 40 in between there.
Yeah.
He had like a V-neck white t-shirt and a V-neck white jumper on.
Double V.
And some trousers. A little bit overweight, but not massively. Short hair, a bit military-esque, but not. And then a full face of makeup.
Okay.
And then he was with an older gentleman who was probably... I didn't see him that much because I was sat across the guy with the makeup. It was an older gentleman who Adam says is about 15 years older.
Sure.
Right? So I thought he had makeup on from the side, but Adam has said he didn't. So there was discussions as to whether they were together or not.
But it sounds like this guy was acting like he doesn't have a face full of makeup.
Well, he's allowed to. If that's his thing, that's his thing.
But what kind of makeup? As in
like a full face of makeup.
But
everything.
No, but I mean, is it like a...
Not show, like, nicely done.
Yes, I mean, he's not dressed up as like a leopard. You know, it's not...
I would have said face paint.
Yeah, so...
No, he didn't come
He's just, like, got, like, eyeliner.
He hadn't just been to the fair.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He came with, like, a balloon as well. No, he had, like, full, nicely done
Fine.
To be fair, the outfit, I was surprised.
Yeah.
Because the outfit wasn't particularly flamboyant.
It's like when fuckboys paint their nails.
It's not like that, but...
You know, dressed completely, and they just throw that in.
Well, yeah, kind of. It was just like, obviously that's a fairly flamboyant thing to do, but if that's his thing, God bless him. But it was just, you'd expect because he's probably gay, you'd presume, wouldn't you? Wow, God, my eyebrows have raised. He's leaving me out on that one. Thanks.
No,
probably might not be. He might.
I would say it's a 0% chance he's gay.
Great. So that's the end of that conversation. So we were trying to work out. Well, we were trying to work out. We were kind of trying to work out what their relationship was. There was one theory because when I left to go to the toilet, the older guy asked Adam if he supports a football team.
Yeah.
Which kind of suggested that it was like the two of them, the guy with the makeup on, he was with his dad, and his dad didn't really get him. It was like a guy, I think he had quite a Blackpool accent or something.
Oh, okay.
So just out doing that, which would make this funnier.
Yeah.
So those are the two of them. They were probably together. I'm almost certain they were. But then they went and got, which is one of my favourite things that you see in Spoons. It's like these massive jugs of like indescript luminescent blue liquid.
Yeah.
Massive jugs. The guy went in and got one each. And I've seen this happen at Spoons a few times. Got one each. They put them down at either side. Adam and I probably stayed there for another hour and a half. They didn't say a word to each other. They just sat there looking across at each other with these jugs of blue fluorescent liquid and just slowly kind of drank it.
No talking.
There was maybe one or two words exchanged the whole time. It's one of my favourite silences, which is with a blue jug.
Because that implies chattiness,
well,
right?
That implies let's go and have some fun. Yeah. You don't want to be... You can't be silent when you're both making your way through a blue fluorescent drink.
Yeah, that's not like... That's not a mysterious whiskey, is it?
No. No, they're out. You're clearly out to like get fucked and have a good time, but you're both just sitting there, just like...
Got sparklers in it.
Yeah. It's a party drink. And they just sat there in silence, which you see, it's one of my favourite things is seeing people not having a good time, but with good time drinks.
Yeah.
Just sat there and and I often...
So they're there the whole time?
They were the whole time. Well, we left in about an hour. They addressed us more than I think they were trying to look and talk to other people. I think.
Oh, I see. That's
my theory is that they were a couple who of many years were kind of bored with each other, and maybe they were kind of looking to chat to some people to have some fun.
Fine.
That's what seems more likely. And maybe the blue jugs were a talking
Do they
point.
seem to have sexual chemistry?
No.
No.
Well, obviously not, because there was a debate as to whether they were partners or whether one of them was his dad.
I don't know, a bit of a daddy thing going on.
Well, there was definitely a daddy thing going on regardless, because he was a good 20 years older.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But then the dad, in inverted commas, went to get the jugs, which kind of threw... You know, but if he was actually his dad, he wouldn't go and get the blue.
But maybe you have a sort of heteronormative, straight view of these blue drinks. Maybe in LGBT culture,
that's just like a pint. I think that's, for some reason, that's more offensive than any heteronormative idea I might have.
You know,
that's what you think gay people have at the pub, a massive jug of blue.
You're going through a divorce with your husband and you just going down.
And you go out for a drink with your husband.
No, this is, you shout to your husband after a big fight, fuck it, I'm leaving, I'm going to the bar.
Yeah.
You go down there and then you're like, right, give me a strawberry daiquiri. Fuck.
Well, a strawberry daiquiri is far more classy than this. This is a jug of blue. It's a jug of luminescent blue that I'm pretty sure you can only get in spoons. There'll be a name for it, and I think you can get 2-for-1 jugs at this specific spoons. 2-for-1 jugs of luminescent blue.
Give me an ice blast stream.
Or get the 2 jugs of luminescent blue, please. And then not talk to each other. It's terrifying.
That is terrifying. This weekend I went down to Lewes Bonfire, as I try and do every weekend.
Wow.
Wow.
Excellent.
That made no sense at all.
Anyway, that's enough of that.
Every year I try and go down. It was good this year.
Is it like paying homage?
Yeah. Well, it's the only thing like that I do, so I try and make sure to go down. And it is, they tried their best to keep all the Londoners out this year, and they were quite successful. I wonder if there was like even a little bit of like, maybe we tried too hard to keep people away. Because every year, everyone comes down every year, and it's always like, this is ridiculous. You know, locals can't even, because it's just packed.
Yeah.
You know, it's rammed.
How do they keep the Londoners out?
There's a BBC News article saying locals say only for locals at Lewes.
So they don't do any like physical barriers.
They stop the trains coming in.
There you go. That's the big one.
You can't park in there, but they that's always the case. But now they've moved the times even further.
So did you go down the day before and then stayed?
No, the train stopped going in about 2 p.m. So you have to just get in early.
Yeah.
And it was good this year. I guess the only noticeable thing was I've gone for the last 4 years, and there's been such big political touchstones to make the famous barges about. So they basically they burn huge effigies that are basically 3D versions of Evening Standard cartoons. Basically, they're like satirical things,
like a caricature.
Yeah, and it's been COVID, it's been Trump, it's been Brexit. You know, so we've had big ones.
Yeah,
and this year is the first time it's like gone back to local stuff.
Oh, right.
So there was
like Norman.
Well, there was one about the amount of potholes in Sussex.
So they burnt potholes.
No, there was like some local councillor, I feel, who was in charge of the potholes. We had an effigy of them.
Right.
We had one about how often the trains are delayed.
Imagine being the man who is just like
pothole Pete.
The worst thing he's done in his life. Is maybe let the pothole problem in Lewes increase a bit too much. And then he's burnt at the stake, metaphorically.
I think I got it. And then I guess it was Rishi, but it was Rishi riding a train that was delayed into Lewes. That's Rishi. And Mick Lynch was the train.
That makes Lewes Bonfire really embarrassing.
Yeah, because the stakes have never been lower.
You can't burn people because of train times.
Where was I swear I had... Oh, I don't know where there's the pothole one. So there's Pothole Pete. You can just about see him. Can you see him up there? It says Pothole Pete. And he's on I guess a machine, sort of machinery used to fill in a pothole.
Or make them.
What do you think he's been making potholes?
Yeah. Because if it was filling them in, it might imply that he was on that machine.
But it's kind of weird politically. I can't really work out Lewes Bonfire because it's obviously very Protestant. it's sort of right wing because it's very traditional, but then it hates the Tories. So it's like weird. It's sort of like.
I don't think it's got a real identity.
It's
I think
sort
it's
of
like who can we burn? Who can we burn this?
Yeah, but it's like I don't know because there's a long history of. There's definitely a lot of political
and
stuff.
I'm saying they might not be maintaining that tradition the best possible if they're burning pothole Pete.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they're burning Rishi because the trains are too delayed, that is like, what are you doing, guys? You can't burn people for that.
Yeah,
you can't burn pothole Pete. I don't agree.
I guess it's a good sign that global issues have maybe. Well, they haven't. I guess Israel Palestine. That was like they did a Russia Ukraine one
to burn one of those.
Yeah. I think they did a Russia Ukraine one, but I think that's
burned Putin.
Yeah, but that's an easy win. I think Israel Palestine, you just can't burn either side.
Yeah,
because that's just a disaster waiting
to
happen.
I think maybe they're trying to put off more Londoners by burning people who have no idea who they're talking about. So Londoners come down and be like, "Who the fuck is Pothole Pete?" Yes. And just like, the train's always late to Lewes. Who fucking cares?
Yeah,
but it's funny them like minor town grievances.
Yeah.
And then they metaphorically burn them at the stake.
I think that's what it should be.
Imagine being Pothole Pete. Imagine being Pothole Pete.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry guys, I didn't fill in a few potholes. Your car journeys have been a bit bumpier than usual. Oh, you're burning me now, are you? I would be like, fucking hell. Jesus Christ, not for me.
I was also in East Grinstead again.
Grinstead.
And on the way to the gig, I ran into maybe the smallest protest I've ever seen. Yeah. It was 7 people marching down the pavement at East Grinstead at about 7 p.m. And I don't think anyone really saw them. And they had big signs that were sort of against. They had a lot of links to go to that I couldn't remember what the URL was, but it was sort of like an anti-Scientology march.
What?
Yeah, so they were.
East Grinstead.
That's where the Scientology. So they were kind of, and I was trying to read the sign, and there was a annoyingly smug look by the guy.
Who when you were reading it?
Yeah, because there was sort of like
drink it in.
Yeah, there was like I guess because it had like a link on there. Watch the full video here.
Yeah,
I think there's sort of like they knew that it was quite a niche protest, so I think there was a sort of like, yeah, he's interested. Right. Okay, he wants to find out more.
Okay, yeah. So they're kind of not revealing too much at the start, which is the hallmark of any great protest, is make it unclear what you're protesting.
Yeah, I don't quite understand what their grievances was. I think it was like the way that Scientology manipulates the media.
There's been a bit more. I think that I've seen quite a lot of documentaries on that who have probably raised more awareness.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like I haven't heard much about. Yeah, I haven't really heard much about Scientology for a while. So. No. Well, I guess you've got to have people year round who are sort of fighting for a cause. You don't just, it's not a season.
Well, it kind of boomed maybe 10 years ago when Louis Theroux did that doc, and there was The Master, and there was another doc about it. Yeah. And it was when
they both came out at the same time, which is weird.
That's how these things work. Yeah. If a biopic comes out, an accompanying documentary will come out at the same time, because it's just like, let's just be interested in this one thing or one historical event. Yeah. And then it kind of goes somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, Also, last night we watched The Breakup. Have you seen The Breakup?
Really whistling through these. Jesus Christ. I think I've seen The Breakup.
It's a Vince Vaughn 2000s rom-com, which I always avoided growing up for some reason, because I felt like I already knew. I didn't. Right. I got stressed out by the idea of them breaking up.
You weren't ready to address your feelings about your.
Well, it's more like my thing about like. Trying to avoid conflict sometimes in films. I think when the film poster and the idea of the film
is all conflict.
Well, you know that the big conflict is going to be there. You know there's a breakup coming. Right. It's sort of like, it put me off, the idea, because I knew I'd have to deal with them breaking up. Yeah. So I always avoided it until now.
Not one to really tackle adversity,
no, exactly, no.
Not even with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston.
What are your thoughts on Vince Vaughn before I go into the breakup?
Yeah, good. Good. Doesn't rock my world, but he's very consistently good. I think he's funny. We've discussed him before in terms of hotness. Girls love him. I don't see it. He looks a bit like a tree. Yeah. Like an oak tree. You know when those oak trees get those little holes,
the gnarls and knobbles.
Yeah, like a hole in the tree would be his face, and the rest is the tree.
Yeah.
It's not a tall thing, even though he is tall. But
Yeah, I don't really understand Vince Vaughn because growing up, I put him in the sort of like Adam Sandler category as being like a trashy actor, but then he's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's some good. He's quite a unique. There's not really many.
Sandler's good now as well.
Yeah.
So,
and he's kind of like Vince Vaughn's sort of like he's quite a unique presence. There's not really like who's filled in the Vince Vaughn mold. Who is the Vince Vaughn type? Is there another Vince Vaughn?
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure rom-coms are popular in the same way that they were back in the day.
But I would watch it. It was 2004, so it was basically the height of everything that we aren't allowed to do now. So it was like everything was problematized. Would be problematized now.
Yeah.
The weaponized incompetence, the way how it was ridiculous how every woman is the skinniest woman you've ever seen, and every man is the fattest man you've ever seen. Yeah. It's like the weight disparity. I don't think it was ever worse.
Well, I watched it pre our discussion about Vince Vaughn on this podcast when I didn't think he was attractive at all. So my problem with it was like you can't have him with Jennifer Aniston. Yeah. But then after the conversation, it's like, well, maybe you can.
Yeah. Well, that's.
Maybe you bloody can.
She looks unbelievable in the breakup. Maybe it's the best she's ever looked. Maybe. Could be.
Shut your mouth.
It's
either the first season of Friends or We're the Millers.
So you like her when she's really young?
Or really old.
Oh, I guess so.
Fuck that one.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
We're the Millers, she looks like fucking 10 out of 10 again.
Yeah. Well, check out the breakup.
When she's really young, by the way. She's like mid-20s at the start of Friends. Yes.
I think like 22.
And I can't fancy a 22-year-old.
Yeah, you're a paedophile.
I'm a nonce.
Yeah.
I'm a nonce.
But yeah, it was. I do feel like with the attraction disparity that you can always bring up in these sort of films, men are just worse looking than women.
Obviously.
So it's like it starts becoming a moot point.
Well, there's some.
Because she could go out with Rob Lowe, but women aren't attracted to Rob Lowe
because Rob Lowe's a creep.
Yeah,
even though I love him.
I do love Rob Lowe.
Creep,
Rob Lowe is pretty. He's a pretty man.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
Brad Pitt's fit.
But Brad Pitt is the most handsome man.
Than most women.
Yeah, he's the most handsome man there is.
Cruise, if he wasn't a tiddler.
Yeah. No,
there's stuff.
I don't know about Cruise.
Well, no, we've got some. There's many. Chalamet coming up.
Yeah,
he's a pretty boy.
Yeah.
Who else? Austin Butler, I guess.
Well, yeah, I guess Timothée Chalamet in the breakup could have worked.
Would have been a weird vibe.
With the 6-year-old Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah. Well, just even now, I'm not really sure it would. He's got the rom-com in him.
Yeah.
There's a meme that goes around that is really funny. That it's like for some reason this reminds me of Timothée Chalamet. It's like a medieval shoe that's like twirls round. It's like a pointed thing. And I was like, fuck
a shoe with a buckle on it? Or a twill?
It's more like a really pointy shoe that then kind of comes back in on itself and maybe does a little bit of a curl around.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But like kind of worn down leather.
Worn down leather? I'll have to see the shoe before I can make my decision.
It might be worth seeing the shoe.
Yeah.
This shoe reminds me of Timothée Chalamet. That's what I'll type in. This shoe reminds me of Timothée Chalamet. Chalamet! I can never get that right, and I never will get it right. There it is. It's less pointy than I expected. No, it doesn't come back in on itself. You don't get it?
Yeah, I get it. I think so. I guess Willy Wonka will wear that shoe as well, so I feel that's...
But the shoe is him. It actually makes sense to me quite a lot.
It would make sense.
I think I saw the picture. I think I saw the picture before the caption, and I went, that must be an old photo of him. You don't see it as what?
I don't see it. I don't see him as worn leather to me. He seems a bit cleaner and... Is he still with Kylie Jenner?
Yeah. I don't know.
Are they going steady?
I think they're going steady. They haven't. I don't think they've made. Well, they've been public, but there's been no updates.
Yeah.
You know these things. They're very brittle.
Yeah.
Snap like that.
Well, I don't know if it's a publicity relationship or if it's true love. That's what I'm waiting on.
How will we ever know?
What if they stayed together for 35 years?
Still.
Well, at one point that probably was true love, or do you think that was just a long?
Well, we heard vicariously from Bill Murray that some very long-term marriages have been purely for publicity.
Well, yeah, if he was her beard, then I think that's that would be an option potentially.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So a man messaged me on Instagram yesterday, asking if I would send him a video of me masturbating without a face, and then he'll send me some money. Horatio was there, and And I don't think you didn't really feel the right decision to
No.
make.
Well,
I felt like you were trying to sell me down a route because there might be a story in it.
partly, but also I think, know your worth. And I guess
And you think mine is £400 for a wank?
it wasn't £400 for a wank. That's not what I was pushing.
You were pushing £1,000.
I was pushing £2,000.
You were £2,000.
I was pushing a lot. I was just like, all right, so a perv wants you to send them a wanking video. Clearly, the clip about you sending a nude accident to someone
made him
has
think
got
about my
people
dick.
thinking, okay, I wouldn't mind this.
He does send nudes. Maybe does he do it for pay?
Yeah, and I think also because of how people are getting them for free, I think that's also brought your price down a little bit.
I mean, my girlfriend's getting it for free.
She's getting. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know, but like
There
you're
was-
sending out to free to strangers. Not
Someone
strangers.
commented being like, and that's why you don't send unsolicited dick pics.
Yeah, there's quite a few people like. There's someone on Twitter as well who said something like that.
And it's like, just do it. Wait for a second. It was like, you might not know who Elle is.
Yeah.
I didn't rise to it, but I was very nearly like,
Shut up! Those people
to my girlfriend. I can't send an unsolicited.
She
dick
sounds
pic
like a
to my
mosquito.
girlfriend.
Just that.
Yeah,
those
just
comments.
buzzing.
Yeah.
I got annoyed by that.
When someone asks you, tells you they're going to send money, they're.
Well, let's go through the messages. He
Yeah.
said, comes up on my request.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, would you be interested in making a video for me? And do you have PayPal? For a minute, I was quite it kind
Like
of
it's
went
be
up.
like a cameo.
Yeah, I thought something like that.
Yeah.
And then when you came down, I discussed it, and I was like, oh no, he definitely wants some ass or some cock.
Yeah.
So I said, I think I went, well, it depends on what kind of video. And then he went, it depends what you're comfortable with. And I went, what kind of video? And then he asked again if I had PayPal. I said, yes, I do. And then he went, great, what is it? I think he was going to try and sweeten the deal with like a certain amount of money before. Just like, here's 20 quid just for you.
Yeah.
And then he was quite coy. And then after like one more push, he was like, oh, just wanking stuff. You don't have to include the face. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, right, yeah, it is a sex thing.
But then it could be like a regular thing. So my main
Kind of development if I got a sugar daddy.
Yeah, that's my main view. Obviously, it's good content, but I was also like, to give you another income stream.
You were a genuine pimp.
Yeah.
During it.
Well, I wasn't even asking for a cut. I was just trying to see my boy win. And I've never been. I know some female friends who are in sugar daddy sort of things.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's a lot of fucked up power dynamic stuff, and it's creepy and it's weird. But then I don't know. I feel if you can keep your head solid and straight, you can milk these pervs for a lot of money.
Well, I just don't think it's not the best news story waiting to happen.
What? Oh, you mean what would be the problem?
I think if we become more successful later on,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't know. I'm not really sure if I funded that by wanking on camera to this random
Yeah.
stranger and a few others.
But you've said many times that you wouldn't be ashamed of your. I mean,
so
I
that's
guess
if they
a video.
got leaked.
Yeah.
If they got
But
leaked,
that's what you're talking about, right?
there's the news story I
Yeah.
might be concerned about is Andrew Cohen has been paid to wank on camera. That's his job.
Yeah.
Like that. If like I send them to whoever and they get leaks, that's fine. No shame in that,
Yeah.
There is some shame in doing a wanking video for 400 quid a pop
So yeah, I guess when they find out you've quit your job and you do like a big emotional.
because I wank on camera.
Well, you done emotional post on Instagram saying,
Yeah.
I've finally gone
Finally
full
got
toe.
there. Nothing to do with comedy, only to do with wanking for this guy. Finally, my passion has made it through. Wanking for this man.
I don't know. I think there's a quiet integrity to it. I think it's always seen as it's always the other way around gender wise. You never hear about guys doing it. So I think there's something
Guys
quite.
do it. Well, I guess you don't.
There's a lot of discussion about female sex work.
Yeah.
And sex work is work, as we believe on this podcast.
Absolutely.
But
It would be
by the way
work.
that you seemed ashamed by it I found quite problematic. I was getting quite offended
Were you?
because I felt like you were implying that sex work isn't work.
Yeah. Well, I guess that is a problem that I need to address.
And maybe if you don't
myself.
need to take the money, I could take the money, but you should do the work because
Yeah.
it's a noble pursuit.
It is a noble pursuit. The problem is his profile was private.
Yeah,
He had 69 followers, which I don't think was an accident.
it was funny.
It is funny. And what was his bio was almost like a
It was something
motivational quote or something.
Yeah.
I blocked
And it was a
out,
big
something like
smiley face,
that. It was a bit like one of those
yellow.
big smiley faces.
Well, what is the price? I guess partly as well why I was pushing it so hard is because it's an interesting concept of like there is always a number, right?
Partly the reason you were pushing your friend to have this conversation with this pervert online was because you were interested about what the number is.
No, but
so you were looking on me like a test rat.
No,
going,
but I was more...
wonder how far he'll go with this, and I wonder what the number is when he'll send a wanking video.
But there is a number.
Of course there is.
So...
And he wasn't, Aru24 wasn't going to be able to fund that number.
Well, we don't, well, as soon as he said £200, I was like...
He said 400.
400?
Yeah.
Oh, did he come back and say 400?
No, he said 400 initially.
That's quite a lot.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad money.
But then he was talking about like a regular deal. Yeah.
He said, well, he did say depends how.
Regular.
Depends how you want to pay it. The guy clearly had some money. I think he's like he's a finance guy.
And I feel there's like, I feel in the arts as well, it's so often underfunded at kind of lower levels, and finance is so overfunded at most levels.
Yeah.
I feel there's sort of a Robin Hood aspect to it as well. You know, as like a sort of nature's balancing itself out.
Take from the rich and give to my cog.
Yeah. Well, I think it's more like it's an awkward thing to balance money and art and finance and art, because finance is always going to be overrepresented. So like a good way of doing that could be finding the pervs who, because they work in finance, struggle to have a healthy sex life.
Arrow is like my penis.
Yeah.
That's how I take from the rich to give to me. Yeah.
I just think it's a rebalancing. It's sort of you got to look at the bigger picture. It's sort of it's nature. Nature is healing, is what I'd think if you sent him a wanking video.
Well, the problem is because when we were first discussing it, could have been like a feet pic or something. But then when he went straight in with like wanking, it doesn't have to include face. Like we started at wanking, that's going down a risky road, you know. That's not even
Once you pop, you can't stop. You end up at the Somerset Gimp.
The Somerset Gimp. I'm on, and I'm doing. I was all for pay. I'm sorry. I don't know. Yeah.
What is your number?
Well, it's not like weirdly. Because I guess it's not high.
What I also found interesting is that we talk about this stuff quite a lot. What's your number? We were face to face with the reality of it.
Yeah, it's not high.
Yeah,
but it's genuinely a slope I don't want to go down.
Yeah,
I don't obviously have to.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, I don't obviously have to discuss it with my girlfriend.
Yeah, I wonder what is the, as a.
Would I? Yeah, I would mind if it was her, but I would actually.
Yeah, but
that would be tough. Yeah.
If she was sending it to other women, you wouldn't mind as much.
I guess not, if I'm honest.
And that's the thing. If this is a girl, obviously.
Yeah.
But this is like a horny gay guy. That's kind of like...
Like, there's no chance of a relationship.
No, God, no.
I'm not gonna...
Yeah, obviously if it was a girl,
I'm not gonna end up with Aru24.
No. If it was a girl, that's obviously fucked up. But I think there's something...
The fact that it's just wanking vids.
Yeah, and I think... I guess because like... I guess if your girlfriend was on tough financial times and you split it with her, then that would be all right.
I'm doing all the fucking work.
Yeah, but if
we live together,
yeah. But I guess you pay for more stuff.
I'd pay for more stuff.
It would come.
Yeah, I'd buy dinner every now and again
with your wanking money.
Yeah, like cum stained pounds.
Well, you wouldn't tell her, and you'd be like, "Don't worry, babes, I got that." And then she just only find out that you're just starting to pay for more stuff.
That I send a wanking video.
Yeah, so nothing's really changing in your work life, but then she's just noticing that you're
just got a bit more cash.
Yeah, you got a fur mink on.
Yeah.
you've got a diamond across the.
You've got a fur mink on.
Yeah, because I'm getting the cut.
You're the pimp.
Well, I guess I don't know how I'd get a finder's fee, but I guess I was a big part of the negotiation if this went through. So
I'd say you more egged me on from the corner.
Yeah,
I'm not sure there's much of a finder's fee because I just told you about it, and the speed of which he replied was terrifying.
But how do you feel about sending Pornhub videos?
But then I think that's a lack of integrity.
Yeah, I guess so.
I would more readily send an actual video than a Pornhub video.
I guess so.
I'd feel bad. I'd feel like I'd scammed the guy.
You have scammed the guy.
How?
Because you have scammed the guy if you'd sent the Pornhub video.
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess maybe it's sort of like, when a mafioso henchman dies in a film and you don't care because you're like, you signed up for this life.
Sure.
That's sort of how I'd be like.
I don't think they have signed up for this life. He came to me with an indecent proposal. Indecent it was, but a proposal it was.
He decently
he said,
yeah, I guess he did.
Here's a deal. I'll give you this money if I can see your penis, essentially.
I guess so. I guess he decently proposed an indecent proposal.
It's like, if I was into it, then it would have been fine. It's just that I'm not into it. And if you're not into it, you shouldn't scam the guy that is into it.
Yeah.
I think it's a weirdly moral thing to do to not send the Pornhub videos. I think that's immoral for some reason.
That's true. I guess if he never finds out, that raises some interesting philosophical questions as well.
Yeah.
Because if
he loves it.
and also if you're sending him a better cock than you got.
Whoa, impossible. Take that back. Don't even counter it into this moral quandary because it can't happen.
Because then he's getting more bang for his buck. He's getting a better cock.
He's not getting more bang for his buck. It'll be
Well, he doesn't know.
Imaginarily, he is.
Yeah. It's sort of like the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Sort of paradox.
Yeah.
You know, he's
A better life.
He's blissfully living.
Blissfully living in the idea of that's my penis.
Well, I wouldn't mind another Truman Show film coming out. And it's Truman
Based
Show.
on this.
By the way, Truman Show is one of those weird films in that genre of like film where their concept is so much bigger and more interesting than the actual film.
Still bangs.
It's a good film, but like it's used. The concept of Truman Show is just a bigger thing than the film will ever be.
Do you mean better or?
Just bigger. It's a bigger.
I don't know what that means.
It's more people. I bring up the Truman Show all the time because it's sort of a touchstone. The Matrix.
But you bring it up too much.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, but imagine the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Where it's a guy who it's sort of like a guy who's. It opens with him wanking over a massive cock.
Whoa. So it's from the main character is the
yeah
right.
Yeah, he's in the Truman Show.
Right. Yeah.
So then and then suddenly he starts.
He's not though, is he?
But then
if we're being honest, he's not in the Truman Show.
But then he starts to notice like little details about the cock.
How could he? Well, no, little details about the body behind the cock.
Yeah, and
he can match my body to me. He can't. Yeah. He's got no idea what my cock looks like.
And then he's speaking to his wife or friends.
Maybe the cock changes a few times.
Yeah, and then he speaks to his wife and friends and asks them about this cock and like shows their evidence. And then they're like,
realizes the mistake. His wife breaks up with him.
No, because the wife, I think, goes, no, those cocks look perfectly aligned.
Oh, I see. Of course, right.
And then he starts to realize that he's stuck in the Truman Show.
So as the Truman Show is, they've trapped this guy in a fake reality in order to make a TV show for everyone.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this. Have I trapped everyone in a reality in order so I can make £400 a pop for a wanking video? Because that sounds like quite a lot. That's probably going to cost a lot more than £400 to keep everyone on board.
I guess it would be similar to the Truman Show. I guess it's just more focused.
Yeah, there's a lot less.
Okay, it's like a cost of living kind of thing.
Well, no, but you're not really answering the question because I would have to be the mastermind behind it. I'm that guy in the hat.
Yeah.
I would have to be the mastermind. So I've masterminded the whole thing.
No, you don't have to be that.
Who's the mastermind?
It'd be this similar kind of character. It doesn't have to be.
What do you mean? No, talk to
John
me through
Cusack. Why? Like, what do you mean?
So what does he do?
He's running it like the Truman Show. I guess it has to be you.
There it is.
It has to be
me because so I can get £400 a pop for a wanking video.
I see.
Yeah. So then I've called round. He's gone. Can I see you masturbate for £400? I've gone. This is the opportunity I've been waiting for. I then do some digging on him online, find his entire wife and family on the off chance that he shows them a picture of two different penises going, those look a bit different. And then I'll say, when he says that to you, don't. Say they look the same, so I can keep making money from him.
I guess we'd have to up the price and you'd have to factor in the costs of running the show, but you're making so much money off these dick pics.
Yeah, and it would also have to, there's a lot of issues with the characters' motivations.
Would you call it the Truman Show?
No, I'd call it the Penis Chronicles.
Thanks very much for listening, guys.
See you next week.
See you next week.